All right, so we're looking at 1201 here. I'll continue to admit people in as we go through, but I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. As you know, Derby City Agile Meetup events continuing to be virtual, have great success. We really appreciate everyone supporting us and the community, coming in and learning a lot here. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Jay Brown. I work with Smart Data. We're an IT services company, really focused on being an extension of your IT team through multiple avenues. Anna Kepshire is going to be a co-organizer as well as Sinead Newman. So today we have Stuart Young joining us from across the pond, and I will let Anna kick us off and do an intro.
Great, thank you, Jay. I'm Anna Kepshire. I own KEP Training, and I'm very lucky. I work with Chet Hendrickson, and we run awesome CSMs, CSPOs, ACSMs, as well as we have a great security division, and we have some PMI ACP classes as well. And the big reason we're here today is for Stuart Young. Stuart co-trained our CSPO with Chet, and I was just so wowed. Like for years, Chet has been talking about Stuart, and I was like, well, I don't really get the visualization part. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, he has to be a speaker. So without further ado, we have Stuart Young, who literally is an international rock star, Agile coach, trainer. I mean, he's the real deal. So you're in for a big treat today. Thank you.
Pressure. The pressure is on. I've never had such a big. I'm going to have to really make sure that that people enjoy it now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. You'll notice the screen now. I just wanted to quickly screen share it and make sure that you can see it. Technology is sometimes against us in these situations. So I'm just so that you know, because a lot of you that are dialed in may be interested in visual thinking and how we do these things. I'm using an iPad, and I'll be using an application called Notability, so I can export my slides onto Notability and draw on top. So some people are as interested in the how as much as the what. So if you're interested in how, what I'm doing, this is exactly the application that I'm using. So thank you so much for having me. I am Stuart. It's lovely to have to know that I've met some of you already in Europe, different places. My name's Stuart Young. I'm passionate about all things Agile. So I've often training certified Scrum product owner and Scrum Master courses and such like. And I'm also incredibly passionate about all things innovation. So where I work here in the UK, I work for a company called RadTech, and I run the innovation practice. So essentially focusing on building the right thing as well as building the thing right. So focusing a lot of sort of innovation and design thinking skills, which is what will come up in this. But removing any of the jargon and removing agile and innovation and just talking about the why, that really comes through hopefully in this talk. And it's all about knowing your customers and ensuring that you can bring teams closer to the end users by using such things as customer journey mapping. So all things innovation, all things agile, and all things visual thinking. So that's a big thing, a big passion of mine. So with no further ado, I shall bring us in and take us forward. So this talk I'm going to be using here, this talk is all around the art of customer journey mapping to really get to know your customers. During this talk, there will be opportunities for exercises. So if you have a pen and paper to hand, that will be wonderful. It's 2 exercises that I'll get us to do. So do please grab a pen or paper. And all I'll be doing is talking about the benefits of customer journey mapping and incorporating within that some key milestones, some key, what we'll describe when it comes to customer journey mapping is key moments of truth. Okay, so there's key factors involved in journey mapping. The first one is visual thinking and storytelling. Then we'll be looking at creative storyboarding. So there'll be little sections within this section, the course, and this talk, and then the desirability factor, which is all around the innovation side, really knowing more about your end users, and collectively how, if we focus on those three areas, we can bring life to a customer journey map. As I've suggested, lots of audience participation, so make sure you don't fall asleep, and clutch your pen, because there'll be opportunities as we go through to get involved. So just a couple of, there's not that too many of us, so you can put it in chat or feel free to shout out. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about is visual thinking. Does anyone remember their favorite children's book? Maybe put it in chat. Using chat, just show it, share in chat. The Jolly Postman, I remember the Jolly Postman. Was the Jolly Postman where you could, little pop-ups and you could pull bits off? It's a great pop-up book. Oh, wonderful. Well, the wild things are. The Hungry Caterpillar with all the holes. This is great. This is amazing. Lovely. Right, absolutely awesome. Keep them coming. So forget agile, forget innovation, and all those weird jargony words that I just used. I used to, failure bow, I used to, when I was talking about visual thinking, I would also always talk about theory, and I would always talk about left brain and right brain thinking. And I was quite rightly outed at a conference once when they said, that a lot of these theories don't exist, etc. So without being too theoretical, I now really refer to visual thinking as visual literacy. Now, there are lots and lots of academic studies that refer to visual literacy. And this is why I asked you guys about your favorite children's books, and they're still coming in. Now, the reason why you guys were so on it, I know you've had your coffee and it's midday where you are, but the reason why you were so quick at looking at those books is because the pictures were really memorable, and they really help you to sort of remember those books. And it's the pictures, the chances are you can remember those stories thanks to a dazzling array of pictures that bounced off those pages. So you were actually accustomed to receiving information and to navigate a children's book using your visual literacy. So as you can see here, there are lots of academic studies about this. So when we're talking about business, when we're talking about understanding products and services or experiences, we're constantly thinking about visual literacy. We constantly think in pictures. So regardless of whether you're interested in agile or design thinking or any of these things, the first sort of bit of learning here is that everybody is accustomed to receiving information in a clear and compelling way, as we have when we were children. And we learned to navigate children's books before we learned to read and write. That's the sort of key thing about this. And that's the really powerful takeaway. So just, be aware of that. And Annalise Tillman, in this academic study, she goes on to say that visual thinking is how we receive or obtain information. So on that note, even if you don't think you are somebody who can draw, the way you receive information is still using visual literacy. And as visual learners, we appreciate the mental that pictures evoke. So when we draw a picture to explain a product or service, or validate a design idea, or try to tell a story about customers or understand end users, by not just using words, but using pictures, we're really bringing people closer to getting a level of alignment. A gentleman called Dave Sibbett from Grove Consulting, bit of a guru in the facilitation space. I had the opportunity to join him on a course in San Francisco a few years back. He suggests that a faithful visual will assist people to retain information for longer. It increases group memory and the retention of group memory. So for those of you that are on this meetup and that you work within Scrum teams, just look back at all those times where you scribbled on a flip chart as a way of helping people to generate ideas, solve problems, gain alignment. And think of the times where you've just shared requirements without any pictures, and how you can soon forget things. So pictures are really powerful for providing memory, and really making the intangible tangible. Many of you here might be working in the software industry, or working with processes that are intangible. How can we make improvements if we can't feel or hold or see the process? So pictures can really be a powerful thing. So now that I've really sort of thrown that in there, the importance of visual thinking, now I go back to kind of questioning, why is it that in the business space, wherever we work in business, why is it that storytelling and simplicity and alignment are key? Why do we unfortunately still make do with comprehensive documentation and jargon terminology? I don't know, has anyone, just give me a thumbs up. Has anyone ever seen the typical IT project visual? Has anyone ever seen this? Yeah, there's a thumb up there. So I've redrawn it, but it's basically a swing, a tree swing. And it's a really good way to identify the lack of cohesion and the silo mentality across any product or process. Now, even if you're working in embracing agile ways of working, unfortunately, we still do, we still unfortunately find ourselves working in these silos, or what we may describe more clearly in the agile world as components. And we're not unlocking the intrinsic potential of each individual. But what we're really focusing on is, how can we make improvements? How can we maximize value? How can we bring valuable, awesome products to our customers if we're not looking at the true end-to-end picture? So that's the power of visual thinking, of customer journey mapping, is getting that level of alignment right through the process. That's really important. And not only to ensure that we can focus on good products and services and offerings, but it also provides us with this opportunity to be more cross-functional. So just bear that in mind. The importance and significance of working in this way can unlock your mind to thinking in this way. Oh yeah, there we go. That cartoon was old, yeah, exactly. It's been well used for many years. It's probably been in most agile coaches' slide decks at one time or another. Expresses or highlights or illustrates, no pun intended, that a picture speaks 1,000 words. So when we're looking at dates, the earliest children's books actually go back to the 1600s with the Brothers Grimm, some of these quite scary stories back in the day. But nonetheless, storyboarding only goes back to from what I know, from what I'm aware, goes back to the 1930s and was credited by Walt Disney to a gentleman called Webb Smith, who worked for Walt Disney. And what Webb would do is he would draw pictures and put them along a wall as a way of story sequencing, as a great way to elaborate on ideas. And we know that still works. Any of you that are sort of well into your Marvel comics or any sort of any of the Marvel films or Pixar animations, you'll know that they still use a lot of storyboarding before going forward. And what a great way to validate design ideas before investing time and effort into costly development, right? So when we think about a lot of the principles of Agile, which is, we don't want to do big upfront planning. We don't want to sort of, we don't want to sort of spend a lot of money and waste a lot of time doing things that won't deliver value. So we need to think of ways in which we can validate design ideas quickly and easily. So there's really a lot of powerful reasons for doing this. The other really nice thing here, I don't know if anyone's ever, yeah, it's great. I can't help but look at the chat. It's great. Yeah, absolutely. It's a wonderful steamer. The steamer, I think, steamboat, I think was one of the first. This here is a lovely quote from a gentleman called Scott McCloud in a book called Making Comics, which is written as a storyboard, which is great. And that is that your moments should be like a dot-to-dot puzzle. If you remove one dot, you change the shape of the story. So storyboards tell a story. They're really, really powerful. That's it, Steamboat Willie. Has anyone ever heard of a gentleman called Tom Woodjack? You don't have to have. Some of you will probably nod when I say you may have done the marshmallow challenge. If you're ever working in agile teams, you've got to create the largest freestanding marshmallow tower. It's quite a great way to show the level of pragmatism that's required within Scrum. And it's Tom Woodjack. So if you ever YouTube this video, but he also does a great video about how to draw making toast. Now, within this video, it's really, really good. It's a really good video, and it's a website all about how to draw making toast. What Tom Woodjack's really getting at is how it's really about trying to unearth wicked problems, and he's really talking about systems thinking. But what he does is he goes through 3 iterations and he gets people to draw how to make toast. Now, I don't want to give it away because at this stage, I'm going to get you guys to do a little exercise. I'm going to give you 2 minutes for this exercise. So please don't be precious, but I don't want to find out how to make toast. I want to talk about something that's very close to my heart, and that is how to make the perfect cup of tea. The perfect cup of tea, right? So without the acceptance criteria, I will not tell you what the perfect cup of tea is. So you have 2 minutes to draw a picture that represents how to make a cup of tea. I'm not going to give you any more rules because I don't want to sort of force you to do it in a certain way. So please draw for me how to make the perfect cup of tea. 2 minutes. Lopo, you've just put something on LinkedIn. Hello, Lopo. You must be with me. Nice to see you. We've got someone from Portugal as well. The world of COVID is bringing us all closer, you know. I'd be a terrible Scrum Master, but I am in fact watching the, hello, good to see you. I am watching the clock. You have 1 minute remaining. How to draw the perfect cup of tea. Please pre-prepare. I can see giggling happening already. The only rule is you can only laugh at your own drawings. Well, we've got quite a few of you now, 46. There's me thinking, that's a problem. You only see about 4 faces. It's quite a few of you. Okay. A few more seconds remaining. I have to keep moving this. Sometimes if I don't talk to my iPad, he decides to switch off. is your time box up. So without being pushy and making you forced to share these pictures, please can you show your competency with Zoom by putting your hand up on the participant list. If you could just put the thumbs up if you would like to share a picture. Just raise a hand in the participant list. If you struggle to raise a hand in the participant list, then I will just ask you to put your thumb up. Okay, Raju, thank you so much. I may have said your name wrong. I do apologize if I have. But Raju, if you would unmute yourself and please present your picture.
Okay.
If
it's disabled. Host is disabled.
There you are. I can see you. Go for it. Present your picture.
Yeah. I'm not able to. It says host disabled participant.
Oh, could you just hold it up to the camera?
Okay, I use the paint.
Oh, okay. Maybe do a screenshot and then we'll come back in a second.
Okay.
Sorry, okay, but I can see, Julie, we'll go to you.
Hi, hold on, let me.
Sorry, I'm failing already. Raju, I should have made it.
Starting my camera.
There we go.
Here you go.
Oh, okay. Lovely. Oh, so you've used a storyboard approach. Okay. I'm going to spotlight you.
Yeah.
So that is great.
Yeah, I'm an expert drawer.
So you've got the tea bag going in there. Talk us through it. So we've got the tea. You've got and how long is the tea bag in the water?
You know, a couple of minutes.
Couple of minutes, yes. And I can't see the milk.
Oh, there is no milk. I don't like milk.
Failure. Move on. Terrible.
Failure. Okay, bye.
No, that's fantastic. And I saw one thumb up on there. One more. We'll have one more. We'll share. I'm sure I saw somebody's hand up. Anybody else wish to share their picture?
Looks like Raphael has his up.
Great, go for it. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can see. This is lovely. I can't hear you, but I can see the kettle is boiling.
Hi, Stuart. Raphael here.
Hello.
Yeah, you have a kettle. You have a mug. You have the leaves, and then you have the tea.
I like this.
Yeah, not so much for the milk here also.
You seem like a connoisseur. You've even got one of those little things for putting the leaves on. You've taken it.
Yeah.
I'm loving it.
In here, we love tea with straight from the herbs.
Straight from the earth. I love it. Now, if you keep that picture up, now I've seen a couple of pictures now. These are wonderful. Now, some of you have used arrows or numbered. So much like you've done here, you've got arrows. Now that's interesting. Now, what Tom Woodjack would suggest is that any systems model is made up of of both nodes and connectors, nodes and links. Now, nodes are the tangible things, the things that we do, the people. I hope there's a smiley face at the end of at least one of these, the happy customer. And the links are the arrows between those links. Yeah, so we've got nodes and links. So when we think about a systems model, when we think about creating a product or creating a process, everything is made up of nodes and links. And that's what Tom Woodjack talks about, which I find really, really quite fascinating. But when we think of it in that way, what I really quite like about storyboards is an unwritten rule. So you see, if I move to the next slide here, can you see that slide to make sure that I'm still sharing? Yeah, you can. There is an unwritten rule. This is in the book by Scott McCloud, Making Comics. The unwritten rule between the contract between the artist and the reader that we read left to right and top to bottom. Disclaimer. What I'm really talking about, not every country. There are a few different languages that read scripts right to left: Arabic, Hebrew, Kurdish. but there are modern languages of Europe, North and South America, India and Southeast Asia. We read left to right and top to bottom. Nonetheless, if anyone questions this, all I would say is know your customers and be customer centric. But what I'm really getting across here is, for those of you that drew using a storyboard approach, you didn't need those links, because you're creating an opportunity for the recipient to paint in that picture within those boxes. So you're kind of creating a narrative. The other thing I wanted to go on to is say that there are many types of storyboard. There are many types of storyboard. Or story, such as you've got sort of the hero's journey, Gustav Freytag's 5-step story, but the simplest is the trigger, action, and reward. Trigger, action, reward. So the trigger, how does the problem scenario initiate? In this example, I've used, someone's got a flat tire. And the action is the execution of that is I put a tire on there, and then the gratification, what happens? I can drive away. So I tell you what, less of me, more of you. Last exercise, I'm going to give you 1.5 minutes using 3 Post-its, or just creating 3 picture frames within the page. I would like you to draw a trigger, an action, and a reward. Now, this can be work orientated, or it can be personal. A trigger, what triggered your story? It could be COVID-19. It could be lockdown. Who knows? I'm not going to talk about politics. I just did, but who knows? There could be many things that have triggered a scenario that creates an action that creates a reward. Flat tire and my tire is the action and the reward. Be great for you to do that. Once again, Sheila, you've shared something that is absolutely wonderful and is exactly, it is so close, it's unbelievable to what I'm going to be talking about in a minute. But if anyone looks at chat, whilst you're drawing your trigger, action, and reward, really good point made by Sheila here around the fact that storyboarding was used to display requirements. Might be good to hear a bit more about that in a second. But yeah, it's an incredibly powerful way to tell a story. Much more an engaging way to present requirements. Okay. Trigger, action, reward.
I have one, Stuart. This is exciting.
Oh, you've got one. Look at that.
Okay, well, ignore the drawing. I did, and you inspired this when you said COVID. So this is COVID.
Rick, can you push it further forward a bit?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Okay, so this is COVID. And within 10 days, we had to move everything international, but we got lucky. We had 10 people sit the CSM from out of the country because that happened. And now we're an international company and we get to make all kinds of connections over the world.
There we go. That's a
very simple, but true.
It is a very trigger, action, reward. You had to be responsive to change. Oh, we've got another one coming up here. Oh, you're hungry? You please unmute yourself, but this picture is awesome. You were hungry, or yeah. So you, yeah, thirsty.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I boiled tea, and the reward is I'm not hungry anymore, and I have a good cup of tea.
I love it. I love that. Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Still missing the milk, but you know it's all right. That's fantastic. I love it. Does anyone else wish to share their story?
I've got a very simple one here. This is Andrew. I have a question. I go and talk to somebody, and now I don't have a question. I have an answer.
Oh, I love that. You're a coach. Surely you must be a coach. That was very coachy. That was great. I like that.
Terribly coachy.
I love the style of drawing as well. This is great. Thank you so much. If anyone else wishes to share, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll keep moving on. Now, so it's a very simple. That was a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and you guys all got the opportunity to do that. For those of you that are familiar with writing requirements, maybe more in the agile space, you may be familiar with one type of agile practice, not called Scrum, but an actual practice nonetheless, and that is the creation of user stories. Now, you may wish to write out a user story using the typical sort of Connextra style, as I want, so that. Now, I find that if people are not familiar with agile ways of working, this can be quite abstract. So a shout out or a call to action is to try to draw that. So if you're thinking about the as a, that persona, who is the end user, the as a I want, the action, and the so that being the value. Maybe if you're trying to understand what level of acceptance things should be, and you're trying to get a level of alignment and clarity, but still provide the team with enough autonomy about how they're going to deliver something, maybe try drawing it. So give it a go. As a I want, so that is very, for me, quite well aligned to trigger action and reward. Thank you so much. Now, just referring to Sheila, I was going to read this out in chat. I did a project to rewrite financial reporting to the financial statement of a major corporation back in 1997, where we used storyboarding to gather requirements. You only missed a few requirements where a few elements of data were missing. Now, I'm going to have to give you $5. It's almost like you planted that there, because that could not be closer to what I'm going to talk about. So I've talked about visual thinking and I've talked about storyboarding. Okay, and so I'm still thinking about those sort of elements that you can incorporate into making impactful customer journeys. So let's talk about telling stories, or why do we even tell stories? Now, a story, your goal in any story is to communicate, is to influence your target audience, to change their current attitudes, belief, knowledge, or behavior. So change is really important, but engagement is key here. And this totally resonates with me. And Sheila, what you said is exactly aligned to this story. Back in the day, I have worked with adults with disabilities, first when I was for 10 years, where I used visual thinking as an enabler for communication. And then I moved on to working within project management, and where I worked as a business analyst. And one of the first jobs that I had was to use Visio process maps to map processes, which wasn't great fun, but it works. It had a narrative. And I needed to map the process for our financial assessments for local authority. So very similar to you, Sheila. But the organization, the council, was losing money. So I needed to identify why or how it was losing money. So I actually used lean process mapping exercises and value stream mapping exercises, and did statistical analysis to identify the value and non-value add activities along the process, and identified a 0.005% value add ratio in the process. And I use storyboarding as a way of illustrating that story. So, a story does not have to have a happy ending. Steve Denning creates a lot of, did some lovely TEDx talks about creating leadership storytelling. And he says, a way of waking people up out of their consciousness. So your desire as facilitators, coaches, trainers, teachers, leaders, is to draw and to visualize and tell stories as a way of engaging and compelling people. That's what's really important. So there's some really important things here. We're talking about visual thinking, storyboarding to tell stories, and why we tell stories. So now I come up to the visual thinking element. Now, when we think about design thinking and innovation. Now, the best products and services can only be designed around the basic needs, motivations, and behaviors of your end users. So if you might have joined this meetup, you may have heard of customer journey mapping. It's been used for many, many years, and it's probably more commonly used in the world of design thinking. But what I want to say is, please do not think of any tool or design thinking as a whole as something you do up front. You know, a little bit of ethnographic research to find out more about your end users is not something you do as a primary phase before you start sprinting. It's another discussion point altogether. But as a true passionate person around innovation, I'm as passionate about having an innovation mindset as an agile mindset. And you need to continuously be innovating and bringing the customers closer to the product and closer to the teams throughout the fruition of a product lifecycle. So you do need to think about design thinking and understanding end user needs when you're thinking about designing new products. But as much as it sort of belongs over here in this, what I would call the discovery loop, when we're actually delivering products, it sits over here as well. And it's as much something that's important here. And it's, without getting too carried away here, there's something called the Hawthorne effect. And that is that customers will act differently if they know they're being tested. So as much as I like user experience testing, as much as I think that all of these, there's so many different ways in which we can test the behaviors of end users. The best ways in which we can ensure that we're doing the right things is to learn from the behaviors of existing customers. So when it comes to design thinking and innovation, it happens throughout the fruition of a product life cycle. So that's just something that I really want to get across here. Now, when it comes to tools such as customer journey mapping, as I say, could be something that we do here to think about experiences of an end user, and something that might sit here based on current customers' behaviors. A gentleman very kindly shared a link within an article that was promoting this meetup around behavioral customer journey mapping, which is a very interesting article. But I think done well, a customer journey should incorporate elements of these things anyway. And I'll go on to explain what I mean by that. So again, bringing this back, we're thinking about visual thinking, we're thinking about storyboarding, we're thinking about storytelling, and now I'm bringing in the desirability factor. And just in case you're not sure why I brought the desirability factor into this, if any of you are familiar with design thinking, you might be familiar with the Venn diagram for the desirability being the customer, knowing the customer, viability being the viability of the business, and the feasibility being the feasibility, can we build it? And in design thinking, it suggests that in the middle, that's where innovation sits. Innovation sits in the middle. But for me, anyone on this course that is au fait with the role of product ownership, another discussion for another time, I really feel that product owner mindset sits right smack bang in the middle of that Venn diagram, really focusing on desirability, viability, and feasibility. So when I'm talking about design thinking, I'm really talking about knowing more about our end users. And this is why these tools are super powerful. No surprise for you to know that there are many visual thinking tools and templates out there. Some of you may or may not have used empathy mapping, this one here, and some of you may have used the value proposition canvas from Strategizer. All of these templates are wonderful, and they help us to frame information. They help us to embrace divergent and convergent thinking by getting everyone to embrace diversity of thought and then bringing people together to converge and come up with some actions. So these templates are really powerful way to identify things. So that I use visual thinking to come up with these things. Pictures offer a great level of alignment. However, we are talking about customer journey mapping. So customer journey mapping is my chosen tool for knowing more about your customers, which brings me, after 42 minutes, to customer journey mapping. So what is customer journey mapping? Customer journey mapping is a way of portraying your customer's experience with your products and services across major and minor touch points, okay? And gaps between your desired customer experience and the ones actually received. These are the moments of truth. So let's explain a really simple customer journey to make sure this makes sense. We all probably use Amazon. So whilst we're saying about this time of disruption, some organizations are thriving right now. You think about Netflix, you think about Sky. There's a lot of people right now that are basically raking it in because of the current behaviors of us as the world, the way that organizations, as systems, we are interacting and behaving. So a lot of us have shifted online. So when we think about design thinking as a whole, it will be no surprise for you to know that Amazon are doing incredibly well in this space, but then they invest heavily in research and development. But nonetheless, let's use a customer journey for a typical Amazon user. Now, what are they doing? What are the moments of truth for an Amazon user? Searching for something. We've all done that search. Buying something. How long it takes for it to be delivered. And then aftercare support when you didn't really want that thing. Now, I ask you guys, forget about the business space. Think of you as end users. What else do you care about? What else do you care about apart from those 4 key moments of truth? So when you think of it that way, not only is customer journey mapping powerful because it provides us with the opportunity to think about the behaviors and to think about the end users for a customer, it also allows us to provide a single bit, to think of this as a single business, across business unit view. So remember when I was showing you the typical IT project picture? The other wonderful thing about customer journey mapping is that if you have got a sort of a fixed mindset and you work as part of a component team within an organization, you're not looking at the true end-to-end process for a customer. It's very difficult for you to understand the entirety and to understand the flow of value that needs to go through the system. So a lot to throw at you in this 1 hour. But what I want to sort of say is that by default, things like customer journey mapping and mapping your customers is a really powerful way to actually get to know more about the desirability, but the feasibility and viability constraints. Because now, once we've created our customer journey, we can start to identify the things that lie beneath the surface, the things that are intangible. Now, these swim lanes, if you want, they could be teams. If you want, they could be processes. If you want, they could be systems. And now you can start to identify the complexities and constraints within the system. And you can identify that you haven't got the same systems being used throughout the system. You've got different teams that are working on different things, and your internal systems do not align to the sort of moments of truth for your customers. Final thing on this, if you're trying to think about benefits and improvements for customers, align external metrics, customers' opinions, customers, how happy customers are, with internal metrics, which may be SLAs and KPIs. You need to use everything, internal and external. But something as simple as customer journey mapping is a great way to then delve deeper and to almost create a service blueprint of the entirety of your product. Finally, when it comes to customer journey mapping, and it was the elements of what was shared on the article about behavioral customer journey mapping, for me, that's what customer journey mapping should be all about. When I'm running experiments or exercises with teams, what I like to do is three very simple things. The first thing is be very, very clear about what the value proposition or that customer journey is. So what is it we're trying to do? What is the trigger action reward? Where are we going? So when you're working with a bunch of subject matter experts, get them together and make sure they're very, very clear about what that journey is. And then separate that team and put them in different tables, right? One table looking at the as is and one table looking at the ideal state. Now, the people that are looking at the as is, they are looking at all of the current bottlenecks, constraints, issues with the feasibility, viability, and desirability. They're moaning, they're procrastinating over how bad the process is. And then the other team are blue sky thinking. They're thinking about teleportation. They're going crazy. And the wonderful thing about separating those groups is that you can keep your feet firmly on the ground whilst you reach for the stars. And that is because the final step, you get those storyboards and you have the team that have the as-is going along the top, and then you have the ideal state along the bottom, and you have these two wonderful horizontal journeys, stories, incorporating visual thinking, incorporating storyboarding, making use of design thinking. And now you can align the ideal state with the as-is to create a to-be state. And that's super important, really powerful way of doing things. So I get rather enthusiastic. So at this stage, you'll be glad to know that I will take breath and I will pass on 2 more slides. The final one here, which is super important, a good friend and somebody who's really leading in the area of product innovation, Gabrielle Benefield, another CST. She talks a lot about, she's got what's called, she advocates for what's called the Mobius loop. I would recommend looking into this. It talks a lot about that infinity loop that I introduced and about providing real options. But her real focus is on, and also on this slide, is saying don't focus on outputs, but focus on outcomes. So instead of thinking about all of the different key moments of truth, we shouldn't be thinking about those key moments of truth in a story. We should be thinking about the outcomes for our customers, okay? So move away from those moments of truth. It's important to map, but we're really focusing on what do we do to add value to our end users. Final little takeaway to you guys. I do have a customer journey mapping workshop, which will be run over 3 days. And because the majority of you have dialed in from across the pond over there, you'll be glad to know that it will be your 1 o'clock to possibly 4 o'clock, I think. I could be wrong. You've got a bigger island than I have. So that changes. So there we have it. And you wonderful people do get the opportunity to get a 15% discount. So if you click or you if you just hover your smartphone over the computer right now or do a quick screenshot, that will take you to our site, and you can use that discount code there, all aboard 15, and you get 15% off. That leaves you with 9 minutes for Q&A, and I'll pass over to Jay.
Stuart, real fast, will we be able to send this link to everybody as well via like an email for those who've missed it?
Yeah, what I'll do is I will share in chat now the actual website and the all aboard thing, and you guys can share that. But this discount code is for all these wonderful people that joined this meetup. So I won't share it on LinkedIn, but I shall share it with you guys on here. And if you could share it with your community, that's great.
Thank you.
I'm doing it right now. Any other questions at all, folks?
I would like to say, Stuart, I would love to have you just Monday about 8 a.m. every single week. Your energy is amazing and greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much. I kind of go into a sort of a fetal position and rock once I've done training or presented. But no, thank you very much. I'm very grateful. I'm glad I've kept the energy levels up for you.
Yep. And as Stuart mentioned, if anyone has a question, feel free to leave in chat. I think, you know, I'll try to start off with one here. With the move to remote, what kind of tools and software have you been using for the customer journey mapping that, you know, traditionally we might be able to do in person and have a really nice, you know, whiteboard sticky note session? What have you seen or successful?
Yeah, great question. Absolutely great question. So I'll stop sharing. I'll stop sharing that so I can see people's faces. I'm terrible at doing multitasking, so I'm just sharing a link there just in case that didn't work for you. So that's the link to the customer journey mapping class as well. So use that and use All Aboard 15. Really good question. So if any of you have attended any courses with in this group with Chet, you'll notice that he uses a thing called Miro or Miro. I'm sure I always say it the wrong way. I use Mural, but you know, there are many tools out there, but I think they're the two go-to tools for distributed teams to be innovative. That's Miro and Mural. So I think I have been using as this, and they've worked incredibly well. So that would be my suggestion, either of those platforms for distributed innovation.
Great. And I think, so for some members on here, they're involved in or work for enterprise companies. Do you have any recommendations on, you know, for smaller teams? I feel like the customer journey mapping might not be as part of an integral process as far as just getting started with that and making a habit.
Yeah, so is that in sorry, as far as sort of tools to innovate or tools to embrace agility, which?
I would say to get integrated into their design thinking and
yeah, sure. I think that there are some other talks that I deliver are all around embracing diversity of thought and convergence through visual thinking, and any of you that are aware of design thinking, in the Double Diamond, it talks about divergent and convergent thinking. And for me, so just to frame this, my answer, I think that pictures provide diversity of thought, and we can get a level of convergence by using frameworks. And that's what I would say, that there's a lot of awesome templates at your disposal. I would say, you know, any of the explain empathy mapping templates. I would definitely look at Strategizer, the business model canvas, the value proposition canvas. So Strategizer, any of those things, they're all free to download and make use of. And another gentleman who's a real good advocate in innovation and bringing it into agility, so combining the two beautifully, is Roman Pichler. So he's got a few templates as well. So I would say make use of templates as a way of validating design ideas and getting closer to your customers. I think the business model canvas is more than products and services, but business models. But it's a great way to start, and it frames those conversations about how you can really understand what your value propositions are and bring your customers closer.
Cool. Great. So we have 5 minutes here. Feel free to hang out a little bit longer, I would like Shanae, another co-organizer, the Derby City Agile group, quick word, lead us out. But if you want to hang around for a few minutes, chat, whatever you need to do. But I do thank all you all for coming. I'm sure Anna will pop in with something else.
I will.
Well,
Thank you, everybody. Shanae, we're going to let you kind of kick us off and tell us about your event. And Stuart, I'm very excited about your workshop. I might be attending it. So this is awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for the huge support.
Thank you. I'm going to drop off just after 6. My talk is about 3 minutes. So, but please, anyone reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter and keep the conversations going. And thank you, Anna and Jay, Sheena, and everyone for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stuart. We really do appreciate you for taking your late evening, or your early evening time with us and everyone here in the States. Thank you for your lunch hour dedication to Derby City Agile. We really do appreciate it. I believe that, Stuart, you have the best thing in the background there, defining value. I believe that many of our teams and organizations struggle with identifying what defining value really means, or what value means, right? So I think that is a perfect cloud caption up there. So thank you for it. And how do we measure it, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody, if you have any suggestions or future topics that you would like to be covered by Derby City Agile, please do not hesitate to reach out directly to Anna, Jay, or myself. We would love to hear back from you. We want to bring the most value add to these lunch hour sessions. Again, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you guys in a couple of weeks for the next meetup.
Woo. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
We did it again. Another successful meetup. Yay. COVID can't keep us down.